All right, call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is an open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city is certified for the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this meeting room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording processes is posted in the meeting room. A participant sign sheet is available for use by any citizen addressing the council. The presenter shall approach the podium and state their name and address for the clerk's record, and we are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. The city of Seward reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Kaler.
Here.
Colterman.
Present.
Singleton.
Here.
Streisand.
Here.
Morgan.
Here.
We have a quorum present.
First, I'd just like to welcome Dave Hahn here this evening, and he'd like to present the city with an award.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
And we got the formalities over, we got the picture taken, kind of like a wedding, want to get it done so you can get that over and done with. But it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Congratulations, Mayor and the city staff and council members. It's a pleasure to be here tonight in Seward again. Gotten to be a habit coming out here. We just celebrate all of your achievements, and so yeah, once again, we're here tonight to congratulate Seward on becoming recertified as an economic development certified community. And I'm sure you all remember, but just in case you don't, you originally received your certification in 2013, and it's good for 5 years. And so the city had accomplished recertification in 2018, and again in 2024. So here tonight to recognize Seward. This recognition is a testament to the dedication and hard work of community leaders, business, residents who are committed to fostering economic growth and prosperity. Achieving this recertification is a significant accomplishment, and it reflects that your ongoing commitment to fostering economic vitality and prosperity within the community. This recognition is not easily achieved, as I'm sure Jonathan and the Seward County Chamber and Development Partnership can attest. You have to maintain standards and submit an application demonstrating the capacity and the wherewithal to maintain your certification. So I want to thank Jonathan and his team, and along with the city staff that have gone through the process and submitting your application, because like I say, it's not always simple. It's quite a bit of paperwork, but it has all paid off in becoming recertified again for another 5 years. Seward's recertification highlights its continued dedication to implementing best practices in economic development, strategic planning, and community engagement. By maintaining high standards of excellence in this area, Seward demonstrates its readiness to adapt to evolving economic challenges and seize opportunities for growth and innovation. The certification not only signifies Seward's ability to attract and retain business, but also underscores your focus on creating a supportive environment for entrepreneurship, workforce development, and quality of life initiatives. So we've seen you do downtown redevelopment, become a creative district, implementing your new wellness center that we're also participating and financing with. So you guys don't rest on your laurels. Continuing to undertake new activities to maintain your community and improve it. Through your partnerships and initiatives, Seward has positioned itself as a dynamic and competitive community in the region and throughout the entire state. Moving forward, Seward can leverage its certification to enhance its reputation as a preferred destination for investment, talent, and quality of living. I want to congratulate you again. We hope you can continue to build upon your achievements and keep up the excellent work in building a vibrant and thriving community for all. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Appreciate that, thank you. We do really value the relationship with the Department of Economic Development, as you mentioned. It's not just with the Wellness Center, but there have a number of very large projects for a
Yes.
community our size that would be very difficult to be able to pull off without the support from the state of Nebraska, and specifically Department of Economic Development. And you've always, as a department and the state as a whole, has always been very supportive of Seward on these projects, because they can be pretty daunting, especially
Yes.
with the current costs of everything being exaggerated compared to what they were before. It does make these projects a lot harder to pull off than they may have been even 5 years ago. And so I wanted to thank Department of Economic Development for their continued support, and also want to thank Jonathan and his organization for all their work as well, because Jonathan and his group, they're kind of the front door to the community when it comes to interest in projects here in Seward, and so we do really appreciate that. John, did you want to say something?
Sure. Very briefly, and thanks Dave for.
Yeah, it's a
coming.
pleasure to be here to represent the department, and like I say, we have a strong partnership with Seward. I can also tell you, one benefit of receiving this certification is when or if you apply for a community development block grant application, you receive bonus points for being a certified community. So that's another benefit of it. Like I say, our Jonathan did the heavy lifting to get the city to this position. I'm sure maybe the city staff, partnered with him to get all the materials together. But it's a pleasure to be here and to represent the department and to just bestow the award on you tonight.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Jonathan, do you have something to add?
Yeah, just real briefly, this is number 3 as a part of my career. It's an honor to continue to do this work here in the community. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else. This is home. We love this place. And really, it's just been fun to watch the growth. And we can't do any of that without your obvious engagement and support through all these projects, but also our private sector business community is really unmatched. And so we just have a wonderful business community that comes alongside beside us and helps us grow over time. So with that, yeah, just thanks for the continued partnership.
Great, thank you. With that, we'll move to our next items. The next 5 items make up the consent agenda.
I'll move the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Wigan, 5-0.
Alright, next we have a public hearing. Alright, so you're not Andrew.
No,
We have a
I'm
pub.
even better.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe you.
Absolutely.
Andrew will watch this later, will he?
Oh, I hope not. Is
Okay.
this streaming live?
It's a terrible idea. So we have our 7 p.m. tax increment financing application, and we have our TIF attorney with us this evening.
Who's up first? Is it Mako Holdings? We got 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes. 2 redevelopment projects in front of you tonight, both with the potential to utilize tax increment financing if approved. The first is Mako Holdings redevelopment project. This is a project that would be located in the rail campus area. The site is just south of the Pet Source facility. This project would consist of the construction of a facility that would be utilized by Plum Creek Seed Services and Plum Creek Transfer. The facility itself would consist of a shop with multiple components and then a front office area. some bulk seed storage bins, and a very large parking area that you can see on the preliminary site plan included in the plan. The redeveloper intends to start construction after this project is approved and will complete construction before the end of the year. The total cost of the project is approximately $3.5 million, and this plan would approve approximately $428,000 in TIF over the 15-year TIF period to assist with TIF-eligible expenses associated with the project, including site acquisition and site preparation, facade enhancements related to the front office space, and based on that construction schedule, the division of taxes would start with the 2025 tax year. One thing to note is that this site is located along Worthman Boulevard. That street is currently planned for construction by the city, but it's not fully built out yet. It's in design and should be completed simultaneously with the completion of this project. So there will be sufficient access to this site by the end of the year. With respect to the but-for test, the redeveloper has represented that this project would not be economically feasible and would not occur in the area without the use of TIF, specifically as that relates to the design and the quality of the improvements and how that will go up with the use of TIF. This project does conform to the comprehensive plan for the city. This is a primary location for this type of use in the city, being in the rail campus, right off of Highway 15, and again expanding to existing businesses in the city. Our cost-benefit analysis for the project is attached as Exhibit C. The first point illustrates those tax shifts over the 15-year TIF period and describes the benefits of the project that I've already highlighted, expanding to existing businesses, providing great representation for the ag sector in Seward, allowing these businesses to better serve local ag producers, and creating 2 to 3 new full-time jobs in the city, and then further encouraging development in the rail campus area. So that's the plan. You'll also find a redevelopment agreement for the project in your materials. This is really the document that's going to implement that plan. This is our standard form of agreement for the city of Seward, explaining what the CRA's obligations are going to be with respect to filing the notice to divide tax and issuing the TIF note, and then capturing that TIF and passing it through to make debt service payments on the TIF note, and then outlining the redeveloper's obligations to complete the project by the end of the year, to certify their costs to the city, proving that they did incur TIF-eligible expenses, creating that minimum value that is necessary to generate the TIF, and then not protesting the valuation below that number, not transferring their site to a tax-exempt entity, paying their taxes, and not transferring the site without the CRA's approval during that 15-year period. So that's this project in a nutshell. Any questions for me?
It might have been caught in there, but would note that it was approved by both planning and
Yes.
zoning and the CRA.
So we can do item D. Alright, D,
Should we have the applicant?
okay,
We also have the applicant here for the public hearing.
okay. Yeah, did you wanna read
Yeah.
that? Welcome.
Hi guys, Kellen Meyer with Myco Holdings, which we're looking forward to building this site here. Most of you know who I am. I'm blessed to be born and raised here. For those of you that don't know, I actually grew up on the other side of the creek from this parcel and have a lot of fun memories down there, so I never thought I'd actually be working down there or building down there someday. So it's been neat to see the growth we've had over the last few years, and we've outgrown ourselves basically, so we probably should have built this facility years ago, but with my current buyout with John Heath, we weren't really able to do that. So the rail campus started, and we're blessed to have this opportunity. We already have talks of future growth, and probably another facility within the next year or two already. So looking forward to building this project to serve not only Seward, but surrounding counties. We tend to bring a lot of customers in from surrounding counties, so I feel like that helps as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have about this project or what we do. Primarily ag sales, corn and soybeans. That's our big thing, which sounds silly, but it's busy time of year for me right now, so thanks for the rain.
Absolutely. Any questions or comments for Kel? Yeah, Matt.
Thank you so much for investing in our community, you know, this is huge, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And it's been a privilege to work with you guys so far on it, Greg a little bit, and Jonathan and Tim, Mike, and so far the process is going well, so.
Great.
Just waiting for everything to come into play, so.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
It is a public hearing, so we can open up the public comment portion of the public hearing. Anyone else from the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing no one else, then we will close the public comment portion of the public hearing and move to item D. This is consideration of a resolution approving the redevelopment plan amendment and adopting a cost benefit analysis for the redevelopment project. So if you have any questions or comments, otherwise I'd ask someone to introduce the resolution.
I'll introduce the resolution.
Okay, the resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2024-17. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
All right, item E is consideration of a resolution approving the redevelopment plan agreement for a redevelopment project, including the issuance of TIF indebtedness for the redevelopment project and other such actions under the community development law. Any questions or comments from the council? Or entertain someone to introduce the resolution?
I'll introduce the resolution.
All right, the resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2024-18. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
So moved. Second.
The motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
All right, thank you. Item number 2 is our second public hearing. Again, this is tax increment financing application by 360 Properties LLC. Welcome back.
Thank you. This project would consist of the construction of 2 commercial buildings on a currently vacant lot that would be utilized for a local HVAC business. This site is located on Progressive Road and Twin Oaks Road, just off Highway 15. It's my understanding that it's sat vacant for a number of years due in part to some drainage and water runoff issues with the area that need to be addressed in order for development to occur on this site, and that those issues will be remediated as part of the TIF eligible uses related to this project. Page 2 of the plan contains a preliminary site plan showing how the buildings and parking lot will be laid out. This project would commence after project approval and be completed before the end of the calendar year. The total cost of this project is estimated to be approximately $600,000, and this plan would approve approximately $114,000 in TIF over the 15-year TIF period, and that's based on a completed valuation of the site of approximately $573,000. So with that construction schedule, we would anticipate the division of taxes starting with the 2025 tax year. The anticipated TIF uses for this project are site acquisition and site preparation, energy efficiency enhancements, and then again, the grading and drainage issues that need to be resolved in order for the site to be developed. The redeveloper has represented that this project is not economically feasible and could not occur without the use of TIF, and specifically, redeveloper cannot afford to address those drainage and water runoff issues without TIF. So getting that fix will benefit both this site and the surrounding area. The project will conform to the comprehensive plan, as the comp plan does identify this as a primary location for commercial development. It'll also be retaining and expanding an existing local business, and expanding that from what I understand is a current home-based operation to this much larger location. And then finally, our cost-benefit analysis is attached to Exhibit C, analyzing all those factors required by statute and describing the benefits to the project that I've mentioned. I should mention that this project will allow the business to create 3 to 4 new full-time jobs in the city, and then again, addressing that drainage issue that's inhibited development at this site. And then, again, our standard form of redevelopment agreement that I kinda outlined for you with the prior project.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the council? It is a public hearing, so we open up the public comment portion of the public hearing. Would you, anyone from the public wish to come forward at this time, please do so.
Hello, I'm Doug Oberhauser with Doug's Heating and Air Conditioning. I will be the one building the building. I've been in town running my own company now for 8 years. And it's to the point where I would like to grow it a little bit bigger, and I can't do it with the setup that I have now, as she was saying, out of my garage and storage units, and it just is, it's a good time to do that, so not afraid of taking on the task of building out there, helping with the neighborhood, and looking forward to it. So, any questions?
Any questions from the council?
I'll just re-note from an economic development standpoint, Jonathan, myself, Tim, Mike, we've been dealing with drainage issues over here and trying to fix or address issues in that area, specifically related to one of these last lots that are left over there in that Twin Oaks development. Doug's taken that on and been willing to address some of those to our liking. There is one element that is not Doug's responsibility. I noted this at the CRA. The road that goes into Twin Oaks Mobile Home Park, that is a private roadway. It's technically owned by Peak Properties or the subsequent owner. It's actually not owned by the mobile home park. I think there's some work being done in discussions to address that roadway, but it is not the responsibility of this lot or Doug to address that. And so some of the items he'll have will help that a little, but it's not the specific roadway that he'll need to address. I know that's been a concern of the neighbors over there, but we'll continue to work with the other neighbors to address the roadway concerns itself, but we brought that up and noted it at the CRA meeting. So, thanks, Doug.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else from the public wish to comment on this item? Seeing no one else, I will close the public comment portion of the public hearing, and we'll move on to item 2D, this consideration of a resolution approving the redevelopment plan amendment and adopting a cost-benefit analysis for the redevelopment project. Any questions or comments from the council? Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I'll introduce.
All right, the resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2024-19. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
I'll move that it be passed and adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
All right, item 2E, consideration of a resolution approving the redevelopment plan agreement for a redevelopment project, including the issuance of TIF indebtedness for the redevelopment project and other such actions under the community development law. Any other questions or comments from the council, or would someone like to introduce the resolution?
I'll introduce.
The resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2024-20. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you tell him you did a great job.
Thanks, I definitely will.
Next, we have our administrative items. Item number 1 is consideration of a request from 817 LLC for the approval of special designated liquor license, SDL, application for an event at the depot on June 15th, 2024. Would you like to,
We'll have Derek
Derek
start.
go first?
Okay,
and then you can
sure.
clean up whatever he misses.
Yeah, that'll work. So basically, 817 LLC has not been approved for an SDL at the city yet. We have a running list of applicants that have been approved by city council. Once an applicant's approved once, then they're good to go forward. So if the applicant puts another one in and we approve it tonight, then they would be approved. We have an expedited process that began in 2020. There's 4 things that I check, basically just making sure that they are following our procedure. And approval of the applicant means that they're able to qualify for that. So the applicant's here, Mrs. Happ, and if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, so owner of 817 LLC, we actually own a venue in the Haymarket in Lincoln called Delray 817, and then the new one here in Seward, the Depot. Don't have a liquor license yet with the depot, so I do use my catering license through 817 to be able to cater events at the depot. So I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the council? Or would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kayla Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
Thank you. And welcome.
Thank you.
All right, item 2, approval of Seward 4th of July Committee request for annual festivities. Derek.
Well, apparently, we're gonna have a big party here on the 4th of July, like always. So as we do every year, we have a parade and street closure permit, and this is just making sure that we are good to hold our parade. I think everybody would be pretty bummed if we said no to this, so it seems pretty straightforward. We also submit to the state, and that's why we have a resolution. We submit to the state and say that we approve it by council. Since it's crossing over Highway 15, state highway, they have to sign off on it and make sure that's okay. In the past, they've signed off on, and there's been no issue with that, so I would just ask for your approval for the permits as well as the resolution for the parade. That's all.
Are there any questions or comments for Derek? I believe item 2A is just simply a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve?
Yes. No. If I don't approve it.
I'm surprised she didn't go up here and just tell us that,
Yeah,
to be honest.
yeah,
We have to have a
We
highway
have-
to, to approve a parade though, don't we?
Yeah.
yeah, better
Okay.
have it.
That's what I mean, like if I don't approve it, does that mean the 4th of July is
Well,
not?
I think you're gonna make it rain, that's what you're
Okay, let's just stop doing that.
Okay.
Knock on wood. No rain.
All right. So we have a
Okay,
motion
motion to approve.
and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kayla Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
And then 2B is the consideration of a resolution for the 2024 parade. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
I'll introduce the resolution.
The resolution has been introduced and it does say it as resolution number 2024-21. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kayla Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
And there is a map, right, of the
Yes.
Yes.
streets?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened was, goes back quite a few years, this, just for some context. It was back when the carnival kept kind of moving around and there was some,
Well, the carnival still moves around.
right, but it was encroaching on certain neighborhoods and so, normally I can, as mayor, I can, authorize a street closure, but I had asked for a map just so that the fire department would have a copy of it, law enforcement would have a copy of it, and they can see exactly which streets would be closed. Now, for this is the parade, but I think there's also one for like the activities.
So
The-
what we typically do is we do the parade because it has to go to the state.
Right.
So we do the parade here,
Uh-huh.
and then I send you a list of all the street closures we've done in the past. We review them at that city meeting.
Yeah, because sometimes depending on how many car entries there are, that might shift a little bit. And we were also being very careful because there were some businesses that have been impacted in the past because some of the festivities might start setting up the day before.
Early.
And like when there was a hair salon that was impacted, they had people that were trying to park in front that, this is our attempt just to be as transparent as possible so everyone can see the map and know, okay, this is what to expect, so there aren't any big surprises on the 4th, especially, we don't want to inadvertently impact the business, obviously, that's trying to serve their
So
customers.
your map for the parade route and the staging areas is in the packet.
Mhm.
The other streets that end up getting closed, like the downtown streets and those types of things, the mayor and city administrator go through with the committee, like, what is that?
June 20th, I
Yeah.
believe, is our meeting with the city.
Yeah, so that is done independently of this. But I think we've had a pretty streamlined system in the past, I don't know, I think I developed that list
I want to say it's probably been,
7 or 8 years ago.
yeah, I'm gonna say between 5 and 10, yeah.
so,
Because we're getting a lot of questions from especially businesses that could potentially be impacted, so that's the context for why we go through with this process and with that overall map. Okay, so item 3, consideration of change order number 1 with General Excavating Inc. to extend the substantial and final completion dates of the utilities and site work for construction of a 500,000 gallon water tower. Mike, welcome.
Thank you very much. So this is a no-cost change order. This is to extend the date. Originally on this middle of 3 contracts for the water tower, the substantial completion date was June 1st, so this is the last city council meeting before that date. This project has been delayed for a variety of reasons, primarily due to the schedule for the tank itself. You can see it being built, almost see it being built over my shoulder here. So we did split that into 3 contracts, the tank erection itself, and then this is the utilities, buried utilities to and from the tower, storm sewer piping and things like that, and then a 3rd contract, separate, is the demolition of the existing 1941 tank. And so with this here, we want to extend the contract as late as possible. We will have a forthcoming change order that covers the additional costs. So we've learned a little bit more about what's buried in the site, some change in preferences to how much of the intersection we're reconstructing. We're also deferring the reconstruction of the intersection, all the buried piping, until after July 4th, after July 8th. And so this extension of 140 days for substantial completion effectively allows the contractor a suitable period of time. So they essentially have not started on this phase of the project. So with that, I ask for this approval of this change order number 1 to extend substantial completion to October 18th with a final completion date of November 18th.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Are there any questions or comments from the council? Otherwise, I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion to approve, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Taylor, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
Okay, item 4 is consideration of amendment number 1 to an owner-engineer agreement with JEO Consulting Group Incorporated for the East Hillcrest Drive Improvements Project in the amount of $47,600. Mike, welcome back.
Thank you very much. So this is design contract with JEO, a engineering consultant that we've used many times in the past, including the Road to Nowhere. JEO originally was essentially given a contract to design the roadway surface itself with the extension of the bike trail. With this amendment here, we are adding an extension of water main. So extend water main from East Ridge down to the Plum Creek Bridge. We'll have a hydrant down there for flushing. That's eventually to go beneath Plum Creek and 2 points east. And so it's always efficient to construct all utilities. We do not need sanitary sewer rebuilt with this project. There's also some additional design services for street lighting. And then there's a small portion that is added for bidding services. We anticipate to bid this project by fall of this year, with construction starting roughly October 1st or onward. We don't have information from the contractors yet whether it's feasible to get this constructed it started in this calendar year, or if this will be strictly a calendar 2025 project. Either way, we anticipate this project to be completed by the end of calendar year 2025. The Plum Creek Bridge is under design as well, same design firm actually. That's administered by the state, federally funded. That project is scheduled to be constructed starting in 2026. So this particular project will complete the year prior.
Great, thanks, Mike. Any questions or comments from the council, or I would entertain a motion?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Your motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Taylor, Coulterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
Thank you, Mike. Next we have item number 5, update on the Wellness Center. Welcome, Joel.
Good evening, everyone. We have had one switch in the schedule that we found out a couple weeks ago, which in the end could be a benefit, but we were expecting the pool dig to be going on, and we found out the new wave, the pool company was not able to come out, so Samson, and do that at that time, so Samson switched the order of what was happening. And so right now they're working on roughing in and doing parts of the ceiling in the pool area, and then they'll dig it out, which, because we're using shotcrete for the pool walls, will not change the end time. It does not delay it. It just shifts things in the order of what's happening. The benefit, potential benefit is, if that pool would have been dug and everything else would have been done, and then they would have had to come in and do things at the ceiling, they would have had to use scaffolding, and that would have been a fairly extensive process. But right now they can just bring in some lifts and do that a little bit easier. They were able to work with the subcontractors, and it was no problem. So it is just a switch. We expect the pool to start in a couple weeks, the pool dig to start, but the process continues, and that won't delay anything in the end. It was just a switch in the process, which at first was a little disappointing, because I wanted to start seeing that thing get dug, but it'll happen, and no delays with that. If you've been by there, you've seen the metal exterior sides of the gym and the fitness and the youth center areas. Those were up, I think about a little over a week ago, those were all up. So since then, they have moved on to the roof sections, and the roof on section B, which is the fitness, studio, and the office area, will be done by the end of Friday, as well as the locker room area, part D. I was told today the roofs will be done by Friday, or on Friday. I don't think, hopefully we don't have any big rain, but getting those up will obviously help when the rain comes, because right now it gets a little sloppy inside of those buildings. So that will be done, and then they'll move on to A, the gym, the bigger part for the roof. But at the same time, then they can work on the dirt work in those places and get ready to pour. And so to pour the slabs in those areas. So things will continue to happen as they're working on the roof in one area. They'll be working on the dirt work and pouring the slab in the other. And so we're about 2 weeks out from having those first sections poured. And I would expect once all the roof parts to get on, then and the dirt work, then the pours will go pretty quick. The roof of part C, the pool area, has been done for a few days, and so they're completely done with that. And also on the boulevard, grading and utilities have been put in, and so that is progressing. The boulevard part is progressing pretty fast. So faster than what maybe the original plan was with the parking lot and the boulevard. It's nice to see those plans happening sooner, and that grading happening, the dirt work, and then those getting poured sometime this summer. And so that progresses pretty well. It'll be nice to have those entrances all paved, and anybody coming in and out of there, it'll be much easier access. So with most of the parking lot paved, now it's a much easier for anybody getting in and out. The boulevard will be done in 2 sections so that they don't have to interrupt any entrance or exit. And so about 3/4 of it will be done in the first one, and then the second part will be the smaller part. But that's kind of what's going on. We'll continue to see a lot going on up there. So, any questions?
Thanks, Joel. Any questions or comments from the council? Yes, Rich?
Yeah, Director Brazy, it's neat to see that it wasn't a setback that they couldn't dig.
Right.
It's actually gonna be just as easy, or maybe even easier, to use lifts in there on that ceiling, isn't it?
Right.
Without
It's-
working around the whole.
Could be a blessing in the long run,
Could
a
be.
lot easier.
Yeah. time-wise too.
Great.
Well, I have to imagine big scaffolding like that, putting it all together is not cheap. So avoiding that, we don't know for sure, but that could be helpful.
Could be helpful.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, thank you.
Did I miss anything?
Item 6, update on the fiscal year 24-25 budget schedule.
Yes, as soon as your emails are all fixed, you'll be getting an email with highlights of with the full budget schedule, but the specific ones are relevant to the city council meetings and things like that. I will note that I did meet over 4 days last week with all the department heads and went through all their budgets line item by line item with city finance director Sydney Holden. And so that ate up a lot. I will say, don't do an email migration the same week you're trapped in budget hearings. That was not the best idea, but we're working our way through it. I will note two that are kind of off the normal beaten path for us. I would at least reserve July 30th for a city council work session to kind of discuss the budget more in depth and have some deeper conversations without all the other stuff we maybe have going on. And then as you saw last year, we're anticipating this again, just to hold for it. Potentially that Tuesday, since we're so much further ahead of it now, I believe that's September 24th. This would be the 4th Tuesday. As we saw last year, we did our budget hearing before the entire county. It's required by the postcard, we call it the postcard hearing. And it was the request of the mayor and the council that we wait and finalize the budget after we took public comment and presented at that hearing. If we plan to do that again, we'll most likely approve the budget the week of the 23rd. Our normal day would be Tuesday at 7 o'clock on the 24th, I believe, would be Tuesday.
No, we're scheduled for 17th, September 17th is our normal night.
No, the 24th is after the postcard hearings.
So would we meet on the 17th as
Yes.
well? So we'd meet on the
'Cause
17th,
all we're gonna do is get together and pass the budget.
okay, so we just have 3 meetings in September?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanna know.
If we don't have the postcard hearing for some reason, we need the qualifications not to have it, then we don't have to worry about it.
Okay,
But
but hold the night is what you're
But
saying?
I would hold the night of the 24th and I would hold the night of the 30th as extra meetings. The rest of the,
The 30th,
July 30th. That's
Oh,
the
July
special
30th.
meeting to go over just the budget, the one where I sit out here and talk for like 2.5 hours.
yep, got it.
So, other than that, nothing will change. We'll have our normal 1 and 6 year road plan review in June, and then we'll look at approving that in August, once we get settled more into the budget. And those will all happen during normal meetings, so we will progress through the process, but the special stuff for you guys to hold is potentially the 30th of July and 24th of September, so we can meet all those deadlines. That's it in regards to budget. Once your emails all work, you'll have copies of this.
Do you have any questions about the budget schedule? Seeing none, then move on to the city administrator's report.
Well, half my time over the last one was spent on budget items with all of our department heads. One of the big ones we'll also see that took a little bit more time is the wellness center will come online fully during the next budget. So we're putting a lot more depth and detail into that one. Through this budget process, you'll probably finalize rates and some of those other items so that we can get that lined up for the opening in a year. So be prepared for some of those public conversations and reviews. Staff did a great job, and City Finance Director Sydney Golden did a great job. She was really on top of it, working with the department heads to be very smooth in keeping that going. Numerous number of follow-up items, whether it's our insurance and waiting for those premiums to come in, IT items, things like that, that we'll kind of get over the summer. But we'll continue to work on that. Email migration, that's going on, moving from Exchange server on-site to in the cloud. That's a big thing when you have as many emails and things like that going on. So still trying to finish that up and get those all cleaned up, find out what nooks and crannies weren't covered or haven't transitioned over. Just a point of note, we did adjust the street closure route for the run to St. Lo. We realized that the 7th Street storm sewer project will probably be a construction project in the middle of that run, so we transitioned them over to 8th Street and a little further down Lincoln where they do their turnaround on the levee. So That was an item that just came up. Other than that, I can answer any questions you have. Again, tons of progress on all of our construction projects. You see Highway 15 transitioning and opening back up to the south. Little nooks and crannies there we're trying to address and take a look at. We had a extensive traffic committee meeting today to discuss some items in relation to some of those projects. And other things around town. The water tower, hopefully at your next meeting, we'll probably have an unveiling of a design for your final consideration. If I can just get my artist to stop doing a mural in Utica. But he's busy right now, but we'll get some finalized stuff on that. And then a 3D kind of understanding of how it is applied, because we're kind of working in 2D right now. Storm sewer projects continue to move on down at Park Street, and then they'll move back into Bradford and clean that one up. Trying to think of anything else we got going on. The RO plant and working on the skid project for that will go out for bid, so you'll see a bid package come forth here in short order for city council to consider, put out bids to put in the third skid out at the RO plant. And so lots and lots of things going on. But if you have any questions, I can answer them.
Yes, John.
Did you have any communications with Eric?
No.
Is that on your list?
It is on our list,
Okay.
so
Gotta keep reminding.
we'll check in with them. That probably also is gonna be a building inspections zoning one, so.
Right, my understanding is that they are working to turn it into an event space. Isn't that right, Jonathan? So it's not like they don't have a plan for it, so I'm not as concerned with their progress compared to some of the other locations where, like down by Pack and Save, where there wasn't a plan for 10 years. And so I guess obviously we'll have a conversation just for informational purposes, but I don't know that it's necessary to push them any harder than we would somebody else, because I think they actually do have a plan and timeline that they're working with. And Jonathan offline can probably answer those questions for you in better detail, but just so that, keep that in mind. But of course, those things, demolition never happens as quickly as you hope it will.
It's an eyesore.
But, yeah. So with that, is there anything else, Greg?
Nope.
Any other questions or comments for Greg? If not, entertain a motion to accept his report.
I wanna extend my appreciation for Administrator Butcher and City Treasurer Golden for their preliminary work on the budget. I know it's a daunting task, and we really appreciate that extra time. It's gonna help us go a lot smoother in the process. And with that, I would like to approve the administrator's report.
I'll second that.
Motion and second, to register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Kaler, Copeland, Singleton, Streisand, and Morgan, 5-0.
Any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action? Seeing none. We have Jonathan here this evening. Do you have some upcoming events?
Back, yes. Thank you, Mayor. A couple of upcoming things. We have a chamber membership listening session here on Thursday, the 23rd at 10 a.m. Just making sure that we're the best organization that we can be to help support the local business community. Wednesday, May 29th will be the Seward July 4th celebration kickoff event, 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. at the Nebraska National Guard Museum. Please join us. as we
Cake and
get ready.
punch,
When's that?
the 29th of May.
29th of May.
7 p.m.
7
p.m.
p.m. We were wrong and got corrected.
Correct. Nebraska National Guard Museum. We have our organization's Rising Stars Leadership Program graduation, Thursday, May 30th at lunchtime at the library. And we welcome you to join us to learn more about this leadership development program. And then lastly, on Thursday, June 6th at 4 p.m., there will be a groundbreaking, speaking of the Pack and Save lot, for the new 48-unit apartment building next to Pack and Save. You're welcome to join us as part of the groundbreaking ceremony, and I just wanted to say thank you to the city for your investments in that project through both LB 840 and TIF. And then also, we made investments through the Rural Workforce Housing Fund. It's an $8.1 million project. It'll be the largest apartment building in the history of the county. So we're excited to have that to help support the housing needs, which are extensive, the amount of people asking to move into this place. So we're excited to have that project move forward. With that, thanks, Mayor.
Great, thank you, Jonathan. Next we have a strategy session.
I move that the city council go into closed session with the mayor, the city administrator, city clerk, and city attorney for the protection of the public interest and to discuss real estate interests of the Seward Rail Campus and provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
Alright, we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, please register your votes. Please sway the votes.
Voting in favor, Taylor, Colton, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan, 5-0.
Alright, the council has voted to go into closed session at 7:52 PM for the protection of the public interest, to discuss real estate interests at the Seward Rail Campus, and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance. No formal action will be taken. We are now in closed session. Thank you all. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Night.
Thanks for coming.